but you need wisdom. And distinguished ladies and gentlemen, wisdom doesn't come from any textbook, which comes from up there. So, I promoted about 100 deserving women into decision-making positions. These included 9 cabinet ministers, the head of civil service, the first Chief Justice in Malawi, the first Solicitor General female in Malawi, 3 High Court judges, 2 Deputy Governors of the Reserve Bank, the Deputy Inspector General of Police, 18 permanent secretaries, and other departments in government. Also involves the formulation of deliberate policies that seek to promote education for the girl child. In 1992, during an annual conference, an NGO in Malawi identified some of the major challenges that impede girls from attaining basic literacy and education. The USAID in Malawi came in to support a project called Girls Attainment in Basic Literacy and Education, GABO. The project supported girls to stay in secondary school. Secondary school education in Malawi is not free, so this was critical. The project also involved changes in policies governing pregnant girls' rights to schooling and also introduced model girl-friendly schools. This resulted in a significant reduction in the enrollment gender gap. Primary school gender ratio narrowed from 0.84 to 0.98. Many women who hold strategic and influential positions, both in private and public sectors in Malawi today, are products of that affirmative action under GABO. These are the kind of women who must be encouraged to work together and explore other workable solutions to challenges that girls face in pursuit of education. This should be done in the spirit of women in solidarity as a mechanism for achieving inclusivity. Number 3 is the formulation of legal instruments to remove unfair barriers to women's advancement and opportunities. The African Union Protocol that provides broad protection for women's rights, including gender equality and justice, quickly when we talk about legal instruments. The adoption of the protocol in Maputo on July 11, 2003 gave us a comprehensive framework for the promotion, protection and respect of the rights of women in Africa. It is pleasing to note that by 2013, the protocol had been ratified by 36 African Union member states and signed by 48, making it one of the highest ratified instruments in the African Union. Where I come from, SADC heads of state and government signed and adopted the SADC Protocol on Gender and Development in 2008. The objectives of the protocol are to provide for the empowerment of women, to eliminate discrimination and to achieve gender equality and equity through the development and implementation of gender-responsive legislation, policies, programs, and projects, among others. The SADC Protocol on Gender and Development also seeks to harmonize the various international, continental, and regional gender equality instruments that SADC member states have subscribed to, such as the Convention on the Elimination of All Forms of Discrimination Against Women, CEDAW, Beijing Declaration and its platform of action, and the Protocol to the African Charter on Human and Projects and People's Rights, on the rights of women in Africa, among others. You may also be aware that the UN Women has drawn up a program to end gender-based violence by 2030. In July 2010, the United Nations General Assembly created UN Women, the United Nations Entity for Gender Equality and the Empowerment of Women. In doing so, UN member states took a historic step in accelerating the organization's goals on gender equality and the empowerment of women. As women leaders, we must tap into the opportunities that legal instruments, such as those cited above, to achieve our targeted objectives through genuine solidarity and effective networking. The introduction of quota system where necessary is important. The development of gender quotas as a mechanism, especially for promoting female political engagement and representation, has gathered international momentum over the last few decades as one of the most effective strategies for increasing the number of women in parliament by promoting a level playing field between men and women in political life. However, progress on this front has been slow. As of 2012, the global share of women in parliament has only reached 21.8%, a statistic that has demonstrated an annual rate of increase of just 0.5 percentage points in recent years, according to Australian Institute of International Affairs. In Malawi, the Ministry of Gender, Child Welfare and Development and civil society organizations with financial and technical support from UNDP and the Norwegian government were instrumental in promoting women candidates in 2009 and 2014 elections, mainly through the 50-50 campaign with very little success. We were of the view as women leaders in Malawi that what women lack most when they campaign is money, that our men have the capacity, financial capacity to stand for election, we don't. But we have been proved wrong in the last election because women's numbers in parliament declined. And the numbers went down because women did not stand for election. And that is what this forum, this foundation should tackle. I don't know about Nigeria, but women in politics are being abused. Women in politics go through scandalization and name calling that they would rather not stand for elections, and that is what we must deal with. I believe that this forum presents us with an opportunity to reflect on the effectiveness of strategies employed at global, regional, and national level to empower women in the political and other leadership spheres. In my opinion, women leadership is under attack. Many women who aspire to become leaders, especially in politics, endure untold ridicule and name calling, as I said earlier, on public podiums as well as in the media. Many women have thus chosen to stay away from mainstream politics, which has impacted negatively on the advancement of the rights of women as women lack representation at the decision-making level. However, it is pleasing to note that some initiatives to change the status quo are in motion. And we must be proud as African women that the president of Rwanda, in fact, Women of Africa gave him an award last week at the summit, has become the champion of promoting women globally, #1. So while we're struggling to increase the numbers, at least there's one president that is demonstrating that he can appoint women more than 50% on his cabinet and the country can still run. A case in point again to fight this abuse. The global recognition has been made by the National Democratic Institute, chaired by Madeleine Albright, who at the CSW last March launched what they are calling the Not the Cost Call to Action to fight the abuses women are going through is when they decide to enter politics. And I want you to do your own research. Look at what happened to Julia Gillard in Australia. And look at what happened to President Arroyo in Philippines. Or what happened to the Prime Minister of Thailand. But you must also look at what has happened to San Suu Kyi in Myanmar. Where do you go and stand for elections, and you are leader of the party, and at the end of the day, you don't become a president because once upon a time, you were married to a white man who is long dead. Where does that happen? Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, my own personal contribution to this fact is that in October 2015 in Ghana, Accra, the Joyce Banda Foundation launched what we are calling Elector into Office, an initiative whose core objective is to ensure that empowered women need to be where laws are made, Parliament. Because when women are in Parliament, they focus more on issues that affect women and children. And to allow the government to appoint more women in decision-making positions. Number two is economic empowerment of women. To understand this factor as one of the critical success factors in building women leadership, look no further than the person standing in front of you right now. I am a living example of what economic empowerment can achieve. Seeing Joyce Banda today, you are seeing multifaceted benefits that the world stands to accrue from investing in women. Insofar as economic empowerment and building women's leadership are concerned, when you economically empower a woman, you are not only improving her economic status, but you are also giving her a voice, authority, choice to make decisions regarding herself and her family as a whole. In essence, you are in one way or the other creating a leader, and Lorraine Citrome 2011 said, and I quote, economic empowerment can provide the clout for women to be empowered politically. Political empowerment allows women to